Hey everybody. So, I'm making a video today because I just wanted to share my good news. So, you know the feeling you have when something really good happens to you and you just want to share it with other people, anyone who would listen. You just want to like post it on social media, call your friends, say, "Hey, you can't believe what happened to me," right? So, that's the feeling that I'm feeling right now. So, I wanted to share it with you all. Yeah. My good news is that life is just excellent. It honestly is. And this is the first time in my life that I would say that it truly does feel awesome and excellent and easy. I say that because I'm 28 years old, right? And all my was life was very, very funny. Life was very funny for me, to say the least. Yeah, it was funny. It wasn't popping. It was not popping at all. And I mean, some of you guys may know me, and you may think, or you may say, like, what you mean your life was funny? Like, you're always smiling, you're always happy, you're always laughing. But there's even a way that sometimes, a person may be laughing, a person may be smiling, but on the inside they're going through it. And that was my life. That was my life for 27 years. Up until last year, I could say life really changed for me for the better. Yeah, so that's great news for me. That is great news. And I just want to share it because I'm happy. I just want to share it with you guys. I want everyone to be happy too. So maybe, my story can, I guess, help you in some way. Hopefully it can. So I guess just to give some perspective on where I'm coming from, right? Just so you guys can get a better understanding of my story and what happened to me per se. I want to give you guys a little background on who I am. So, so I would say all of my life I've kind of been like I guess like a lonely type of person. Like all my life I can say that I was like very dark on the inside. I was very dark. I was very lonely. I was very like isolated. I didn't necessarily want to be around people, though, even when I was around people, like it was cool, but on the inside I was like, I don't want to deal with people at all, really. And that was because, I guess, more so because of the insecurities that I was dealing with even from the time that I was a kid. So I guess my earliest memory of being that way, I can remember when I was in, I believe it was kindergarten, and this would happen all the time, right? During recess, right? That's the time that you would think for most kids, that's their favorite part of the school day. But for me, honestly, I dreaded recess so much. Why? Why did I dread recess? Because at that time of the day, that's when people, hang out, are, playing with their friends, and, different cliques are going on and stuff like that. Well, me, like I told you guys, I was always isolated. I don't know why, but that's the person that I was. So, like, when other people were playing, hanging out with their friends, I was the kid that was sitting down by herself and, yeah, being alone. And it's not that that is something that I wanted, per se, or something that I was just more so comfortable with or happy to be by myself. I wasn't. But that's just how it went at that time. So, I mean, I could remember even from when I was a kid, I always had that feeling of feeling like I wasn't enough for anybody, like I wasn't important enough to be heard, to be talking per se. I wasn't worthy. I wasn't anything really. I didn't feel like I was anything per se. And yeah, that was my case from the time that I was little. And yeah, I feel like it kind of followed me throughout my life, like being this lonely person, being this person who felt like they were unworthy, like they were unimportant, like no one like valued me per se enough to want to hear my opinion, valued me enough to want to see what was going on in my life, really. So that followed me for 27 years. I mean, even, you know what, even like looking back in those times, like when I was a kid in school, like that feeling of isolation and all that stuff. The funny part is, a lot of people who may experience troubles at school, they go home and it's a different story. Things are brighter at home for them. But for me, I feel like it was kind of like the same story. Like, I felt like I was not important enough. I felt like I was an outsider. I even thought of myself for the longest time as like a black sheep of my family. And I mean, part of that is due to the fact that like my siblings, my brother and sister, they would always like make jokes like, "Oh, Cass, you're adopted. You're adopted. You're not even really part of this family." And the reason why they would say that is because, like, many reasons, man. Anyways, that's okay. They would always say those things, but and then also the fact that my dad, like, it was a known fact, I feel like. It was a known fact that my dad's favorite child was my sister, and my mom's favorite child was my brother. But what about me? What about me? So, I was a middle child, and I always felt like, I didn't belong. Yeah. And the funny part is, like, my grandma used to live with us, and I felt like I was her favorite. But deep down inside, I really, really just felt that way because, well, I really feel like she chose me to be her favorite because that there was no one left to have, and so I was the last pick. That was really the story of my life, like the last pick. The outcast, lonely, unimportant, secluded, unworthy. That was who I was, who I thought myself to be from childhood to 27 years old, right? That's who I thought myself to be. But, things got brighter for me. They really did. Maybe, how old was I? I think maybe around 26. 26. And I say that because, or 25. No, I say that because at that age, I actually met someone, right? I met someone, and this person was awesome. I viewed this person as like the mirror image of myself. So what I was dealing with, he was also dealing with it too. So the deep feelings that I was feeling, he felt them too. So I could relate to him, he could relate to me, and it worked because I felt like in him I had that feeling of feeling worthy. In him I had that feeling of feeling like I belonged, like I didn't feel like the outsider with him. And like, he was just awesome. I mean, even the stupid things that I thought to be funny, right? He thought they were funny too. Everything that I saw in him at the time. But then at the same time, I was very, like, broken deep down inside. And therefore, he was too. I guess maybe that's why we even attracted each other. But anyways, we were a good pair, I would say. We were a good pair because all those things that I was missing my whole life, I found in him. So it was awesome. But then I remember one day he sent me a text message, and he said to me, "I don't think that I'm in love with you." So this is the person that we were telling each other we loved each other, right? And this was the person that I found comfort in, that I found solace in, that understood me, that understood where I was coming from, that understood my insecurities and my issues and my, the deep things that I was. He understood who I was because he was also that person too. So that person, he said, "I don't think that I'm in love with you." So for me, that was like a kick in the gut, like literally. We were together for maybe 2-3 years, and after all that, I felt like, man, like, I literally have no one understands me. That person that I thought understood me, he truly doesn't, or he just truly doesn't understand me. And the person, what I was looking for my whole life, right, I thought was in him, but it wasn't, because he didn't love me, which was hard, but it's okay. So after all that, the breakup and everything, surprisingly, getting over it was faster than I thought, and it was okay. It really was okay after a while. Man, I'm thinking back on, like, the things that have happened, even, to bring me here, right? I remember one time, I went back to him, and I was doing something that I had no business doing at all. And I just felt like a conviction within me, like, what, that said, "What are you doing? Why are you here? You're not supposed to be here." And from that moment forward, that's when I decided, like, pretty much cut the ties. You need to move on. So that's what I did. And like I said, it was easier than I thought it would be. Even in the midst of all that, I remember, like, there would be times where I would write about my feelings in regards to what I was going through, because I'm a writer. I like to write a lot. I like to write a lot of things. So I would write about my feelings and what I was going through. And I remember, like, just writing, I know that things will be better. I feel at peace. I feel at ease. And I know that this is the right thing. I know that there's better for me and that life will only get better. But I didn't know why. I really did not know why. You would think that after losing, like, your right-hand person, that, that I would be even more lost. But actually I wasn't. I really wasn't. And I didn't understand why, but I was happy that it was that way, because I felt like things were getting better despite the circumstance. So around that time, I feel like that's when my friend, one of my best friends, she started bringing me to church. And this friend, we love her so much. She's a church girl to the core. She's a church girl. And so, I mean, even looking at her life, I never really, like, understood at all, like, what is this? I never got it. But every once in a while, she would bring me to, like, different churches or whatever. And I guess maybe that was the beginning of it. Maybe that was the beginning of it. I don't really know. But I think that it was. Because the thing is that, like, I felt like God was trying to tell me that everything would be okay. You know? I feel like that God was trying to tell me that everything would be okay and that the future was glorious, it was awesome, and that I did not have to worry about the things of my past anymore. You know? So, I started going to church, and I was never a church girl at all. I mean, honestly, my family was raised in the church per se. They were like, fake Christians. So we would go to church on like the major holidays and stuff. And I did get baptized. I got first communion and all that stuff. But really, I can never say I knew who God was at all. Like, I really had no idea. But yeah, during that time period, I feel like I kind of was being drawn to him, and I feel like he is what made everything so easy, despite the fact that I had no idea who he even was. I would find myself being drawn to like go to church, and I was like, I was never this type of person. I never was, but I feel like that brought me peace. And not only just when I was at church, but like I would go home and, I just had the feeling that everything would be fine. And it was fine. And it was fine. So throughout my journey, I got to know a little more of who God is. And then, I guess, realizing a little bit of who he is, I realized that all the things that I was searching in people my whole life, the feeling of belongingness, the feeling of love, the feeling of worthiness, feeling like I was worthy, rather, I never got it. I never truly got it. Even when I thought I had it, I really did not. I really did not have it. So I realized that in all those things, for 27 years of my life, I was just missing the point. I was really missing the point. Because in finding out who he was, or beginning to, I can't say that I completely know who he is now, but in beginning to figure out, get to know him, know this person, know God, I realized that all that I had been missing was in him. So, where people around me, even family, told me that I was unworthy, when people around me, even family, made me feel like I didn't belong or that I was the black sheep, when people around me, even family, made me feel like what I had to say just didn't matter or wasn't important, God made me feel like I was important. God made me feel like I belonged, and God made me feel like I was loved. How? There's so many testimonies that I could share as far as how he's really blessed me and shown me how he sees me as a person. I'd love to share them with you. Maybe I will share them with you. I don't want to make this video too long, but we'll share that with you guys. But even as he showed me who I am, I realized that all those things, all those characteristics that I thought I was in the past, that was not me, and that is not me today. So, man, the funny part is, I never asked for this, right? I never knew who God was, and I never said, in the midst of my troubles, God help me. I don't know what to do. God help me, lead me, like, why am I feeling this way? I never did, because I didn't know who he was. So it's not like I was searching for him, but I feel like he found me. And amidst all my mess, amidst all my gunk, amidst my craziness, man, you guys have no idea. I used to do some crazy things. I used to do some foolish things. You guys probably wouldn't even believe it, but man. Well, yeah. I used to get myself into some situations, but that's okay. That's okay. Amidst being the person, amidst being the person that, smoked marijuana, that got drunk till to the point that I didn't know what was going on. One time I got drunk to the point where I woke up in the bathroom like wrapped up in comforters with a bloody hand. Like, what was I doing? Things like that. I would get drunk to the point where I would be at a party and it's like I would be the one sitting on the front stoops throwing up everything. And then once I finish throwing up, boom, go back right to the party. Keep it moving, keep on drinking, keep on having fun, keep on dancing. I was that person. I was the person who loved sex. I was that person. I was the person who not only loved it, but I had a very twisted mind. That was me. That was me. And not only those things, but inside, man, I was lonely. I was empty. I felt like, no matter what I did, it was purposeless. Like, I would question, what's the point of living this life when everything is the same? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You go through the same cycle of life. You go to work, you come home, you do fun things, but at the end of the day, it's like, what is the point of this all? Like, this is whack. Like, what am I doing? There must be more to life than this. That was my feeling. That was my thought, because I was doing all these things, but yet I still felt empty inside. Yet I still felt like I was missing something. And I was searching for it in people. I was searching for it in friends. I was searching for it in drugs. I was searching for it in alcohol. I was searching for it in sex. But yet, even after all those things, even after reaching out to people, I still felt like I was empty inside. And I still felt like life really had no purpose for me because I was just missing it. I was missing it. Yeah, I was really just missing it. Where was I going with this? Yeah, man. Sometimes I even forget who I used to be, what I used to do. But everything's okay now. Anyways, going back to what I was saying. Yeah, those things that I thought I was in the past, I realized through God that you are not that person. You are not unimportant. You are not unworthy. You are not a black sheep. You are not unloved. Because He told me, He showed me that I am just the opposite, that I'm worthy, that I'm important, that I have a voice that needs to be heard, that I'm loved, that I am awesome. And that is what I feel like really changed my life. Even in the midst of going through all these things, it's like God found me and He pulled me out of my situation. Like I said, I wasn't looking for him. I wasn't looking for an answer per se. I just knew that I was lost. I just knew that there was more to it than what I was living. So even in the midst of that stuff, God still found me, and he still found me. He still had compassion on me to tell me, it's okay. It's okay. Like all those things that you thought about yourself, you're better than that. And that is not who you are. And all those things that I did, that I even used to feel guilty about, he told me it's okay. It's okay. I still choose you, and I still love you, and I still choose you. So, man, yeah, that's my story. The fact that God had compassion on me. I used to ask myself all the time, why me? Why do you choose me? I was the type of person, I was always last pick. No one ever chose me. So when I was chosen by God, for him to love me, for him to pursue me, for him to come after me when I didn't know who he was at all, I just asked myself, why me? Who am I that anyone would choose me? Who am I that God, the Creator, would choose me? But I realized that, despite who I was, despite who we are, he still loves us. He still wants us, despite what we may be going through, what we have done in the past, he still chooses us. So, yeah, I think it's just beautiful. And, ever since learning of who he is and getting to know him, ever since pretty much submitting to him and following him, I feel like life is just beautiful. And it really truly is in every way. I feel like for me, things just come with ease. That for me, things are just like sunshine, honestly. Like life is good. There's not a moment where I go through something and I'm like, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. No, everything is settled. Everything is answered. Honestly, life is amazing. And who knew? I never knew that it could be like this, because my whole life, it was a struggle. It was hard, and it was rough, and it was not pretty. But God has shown me that that was not the life that I was meant to live, that the life of troubles, the life of worries and anxiety and depression and feeling unworthy, unloved, that was not my portion at all. And the funny thing is, like, that's really not anyone's portion, In this life, it's like, if you find yourself like just going through the motions, going through ups and downs, honestly, it's not supposed to be like that at all. Life is not supposed to be up and downs. Life is supposed to be glorious every single day. Life is supposed to be joyous every single day. Life is supposed to be easy, with ease, every single day. Now, that doesn't mean that a person doesn't go through troubles or go through experiences that, may test them. But still, even in the midst of troubles, that it's fine, because God is going to get me through it. And that is my testimony of life, Even now that I've known him, I'm still human, so I still find myself in situations. But still, even in the midst of that, he tells me, and I know that, you'll be fine. Like, this is just a bump, and we'll get through it. And we've gotten through every single situation. So that's my good news. That is my good news. That life is beautiful. That life is sweet. That life is joyous. And honestly, I just want to share it with you guys all because this is the life that we're supposed to live. We're not supposed to live a life of worries and anxiety. Honestly, that is not our lot in life. None of us, despite where you've come from, despite where you are, despite what you've done. Honestly, I mean, I'm even like a testimony to that because I was not perfect. I was not perfect at all. There's a lot of things that I did that you guys would just woo. Anyways, it's okay. It's okay because all those things that I did, God told me it's okay. That all those things that I did, God told me that I'm forgiven, and it doesn't even matter. Honestly, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. But life is beautiful, and we just want to share our testimony, our story, our good news with you all. And yeah, we just want to share that with you guys because honestly, it's been bubbling up, and I just want to share in the hopes that everyone can live a happy, fabulous, glorious, easy life. That's the thing, easy life. Don't go through hardships. You don't have to go through hardships. Not with God. You don't have to. You really don't. So, yeah, that's my story. That's my testimony. I hope in some way that you guys were blessed by it. Maybe you know a little more about me that you didn't know before. And yeah. We hope that you all can find happiness in whatever you do, that you all can find peace in whatever you do, that you all may find joy in whatever you do, in all areas of your life. And honestly, I love you all. You're beautiful. Even looking at your Instagrams, you're beautiful. And we love you and wish the best for you. And yeah, have an awesome day. And talk to you soon. Bye-bye.